something with this thing up.
Well, apparently cataract or something, whatever.
Oh, you're working.
Boom, here we go. Good morning, everybody. Here we're still in Lent. We're rolling right along. What are we? What is this? Oh, it's the third Sunday of Lent. It's so crazy because I was working on my other stuff the other day, and I was dealing with the several Sundays into Easter, so I kind of get lost in the calendar. Be at Pentecost before I know it, and working on stuff, so I have to keep everything ahead. So here we are, the third Sunday of Lent. How's everybody's Lent going? Is it going okay? You're, you know, being introspective, and you haven't, you know, messed up anything or whatever, or had some time to reflect about your own lives and your own whatever. No, maybe.
So much.
Okay. It's just really
Be honest.
Yeah. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. Maybe. But that is, I mean, you know, I mean, it is supposed to be a time where we get a chance to catch up and catch our breath, and it's actually been, this has probably been one of my better ones in the last few years that I've had a chance to sit down and go, So, not that I've, you know, gained any deep wisdom, but we continue on. So we go into Lent. We're in John's Gospel. And this is where, for those who've already looked ahead at what we're doing today, you'll see that this is a long story. That is exactly what John does. He tells long stories. He's a real minister. He thinks he's paid by the word, but he's not. So, but this is a chunk of a story. And so there's a lot going on in this story too. And as I told Deb going out the door today, I feel like I talked for the sermon, tried to pick up too many points and should have stuck with just a couple. But we'll see how that goes. But
If you get us out by 12, we're good.
I'm well aware. The other side of preaching, right? Makes me feel so good. Like, yeah, my life's goals were so worthy. But here we are. So this is John. This is just the way John tells stories, and so it can get lengthy. So here we go. John chapter 4, verses 5 through 42. All right. So he came to the Samaritan city called Sychar, near the plot of ground that Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, tired out by his journey, was sitting by the well, and it was about noon. A Samaritan woman came in to draw water, and Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink." His disciples had gone to the city to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "How is it that you, a Jew, ask a drink of me, a woman of Samaria?" Jews do not share things in common with Samaritans. Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that is saying to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." The woman said to him, "Sir, you have no bucket, and the well is deep. Where do you get that living water? Are you greater than our ancestor Jacob, who gave us the well, and with his sons and his flock drank from it?" And Jesus said to her, "Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again. But those who drink of the water that I will give them will never be thirsty. The water that I give will become in them a spring of water gushing up to eternal life." The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water so that I may never be thirsty or have to keep coming here to draw water." And Jesus said to her, "Go, call your husband and come back." The woman answered him, "I have no husband." And Jesus said to her, "You are right in saying, 'I have no husband,' for you have had 5 husbands, and the one who you now have is not your husband. What you have said is true. And the woman said to him, Sir, I see that you are a prophet. Our ancestors worshipped on this mountain, but you say that the place where people must worship is in Jerusalem. And Jesus said to her, Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know, for salvation is from the Jews. But the hour is coming and now here when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeks such as these to worship him. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and in truth. And the woman said to him, I know that Messiah is coming, who is called Christ. When he comes, he will proclaim all things to us. And Jesus said to her, I am he, the one who is speaking to you. Just then his disciples came, and they were astonished that he was speaking with the woman. But no one said, What do you want? Or, why are you speaking with her? Then the woman left her water jar and went back to the city. She said to the people, Come and see a man who told me everything I have ever done. He cannot be the Messiah, can he? And they left the city and were on their way to him. Meanwhile, the disciples were urging him, Rabbi, eat something. But he said to them, I have food to eat that you do not know about. So that the disciples said to one another, Surely no one has brought him something to eat. And Jesus said to them, My food is to do the will of him who sent me and to complete his work. Do you not say 4 months more, then comes the harvest? But I tell you, look around, and you see the fields are ripe for harvesting. The reaper is ready, receiving wages, and is gathering fruit for eternal life, so that the sower and the reaper may rejoice together. For here the saying holds true, one sows and another reaps, and I sent you to reap for which you did not labor. Others have labored, and you have entered into their labor. Many Samaritans from the city believed in him because of the woman's testimony. He told me everything I have ever done. So when the Samaritans came to him, they asked him to stay with them, and he stayed there 2 days. And many more believed because of his word. They said to the woman, It is no longer because of what you said that we believe, for we have heard for ourselves, and we know that this is truly the Savior of the world. Whoa. Yaha. Familiar? Part of it? Yeah, the general story, right? Okay. See, John's long, right? And the passages we pick, I was thinking through there, why didn't we could have cut that off in several places, but we didn't. Here we go. So, oh, you got a question? Go ahead, sir.
Did he have on I'm a Jew shirt or something?
I'm a Jew.
She comes up, she's from Adam, and all of a sudden he's a Jew.
Can we say that out loud? I don't know. You know, that's a great question.
All I got is this shirt.
I don't. I don't.
Well, and he's standing there, next thing you know, he's a Jew.
I know. That's an interesting. I must confess, I did not anticipate that question. Yeah. No, it's okay. That's super good. No, it's something. You know, it is something that we. I mean, how do they make those distinctions? I don't know. I mean.
Maybe she just didn't know who he was, so she figured he had to be a Jew.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with everything else. It's a Samaritan, it's a whatever. Like,
Yeah,
how do you know?
I don't know.
Is there clothing?
I have no idea. I mean, how do we know anybody? I mean, really, yeah, you know, we.
This is the first time I ever noticed that she says our father Jacob. So
Yeah.
even though she's Samaritan, was she related to Jacob?
Yeah, they are. I mean, they all are, right? But they're at odds with each other. They are. Just kind of like,
Just like now.
I don't know, yeah, today, you know.
Well, I think the other one is
Yeah.
they made a comment that we don't believe you,
Yeah.
we don't believe because we heard. But she didn't seem like a person
Yeah.
that people would have listened to,
Right.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
Her four
Well-
husbands didn't listen to her.
like, she's
Wow.
multiple husbands.
I don't.
But I mean, it doesn't sound
you
like
put it in the
she's a
story.
prominent person
Yeah.
in the community where people would have said,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we need to pay attention and go see what she's talking about.
Uh-huh.
It's odd to me that
Yeah.
they paid enough attention to go see and said, okay, now we agree with you because we
Yeah.
agreed ourselves.
Now we've heard, yeah.
It just seemed, it didn't seem like she's a prominent enough a person that if she had went back and told 10 people, they would have been, oh, okay, without something,
Right.
If she said it, it must be true.
right?
Yeah.
And the reason that she was there at noon, she didn't want anybody else around the well.
Right.
So, which adds credence to what you were saying. She was socially odd. with
Yeah.
the community.
Right. Yeah. If you show up to get water at 12, you definitely do not want to be seen, because that is just not the time to show up. That's hot. The ladies would get water in the morning. You know, you just don't. Yeah. She's trying to avoid. How they know that sort of. I mean, I guess. How do I mean? And also remember, somebody's writing this story much later, much later. So some of those things work themselves out, I guess. You know, we do make assumptions about other people, don't we? I mean, you know, about who. Oh, they must be this or they must be that. I don't know.
Tam, once again, was using
A woman,
yeah,
Yeah.
lower,
lower,
I don't know,
Yeah.
the word
an
class,
outcast.
but an outcast.
Well, an outcast, definitely an outsider, definitely on many levels. Jews and Samaritans, they do not like each other at all. Do not, and you can even pick up. I mean, his language. Salvation comes from us. You know, y'all are over there. You know, we're over here. Y'all are over there.
You believe what you want to
Yeah, there's it's kind of like Western and Eastern the Eastern Orthodox versus the Western Church or the Roman. We're at odds with each other, but there is a deep divide, and I think some of that plays out in the world that we live in today, that we stand over here and don't get about the Middle East and think we do, and think we go, well, if we just go over here and we can make this work. And it's like, yeah, we've been at this for a long time, so y'all might want to just hold on there. Now that y'all are celebrating 250 years, we've been around a long time. Y'all ain't been around a long time. There is this deep divide here.
Is Samaritans Jewish as well? Or they?
Well, they're Semitic, yes. Yeah.
I mean, Samaritans is a spot, a place on
Yeah.
earth.
Right.
It's not their religion.
Yeah. But they do have, but they are worshiping the same. Again, I'm Jacob's our relative. It's just it's kind of like when in Galatians when Paul is talking about Sarah and Hagar, the split there, that the children Ishmael, Israel, that's kind of the divide from the Old Testament, and those kind of the animosity that they have. They're connected in certain ways, but they're still worshiping the same, but they're at odds about how they worship this God. Should we be surprised about that part? I mean, hey.
We know families that,
Yeah.
brothers and
Yeah,
don't talk to
yeah.
brothers or don't talk to sisters.
Yeah.
And, one goes to the
Yeah.
Catholic Church and one goes to the,
Yeah.
even,
Let's go hang around with Pentecostals, y'all. I mean, the animosity is not as deep. Well, depends on who you're talking to. But I mean,
Aware of the Messiah.
yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah. They worship the same. They just worship differently, and there's just this animosity there, that's deep, that's been there a long time. So Jesus is talking to somebody who's definitely, he's not supposed to be talking to her, Rabbis don't do that. They don't talk to women they don't know or are not related to. We don't do that stuff. She's an outsider. She's a Samaritan. She's a she. She's apparently, things haven't gone well for her, you know, on certain levels. And, yeah, here's Jesus talking to her, you know, disciples aren't around, you know. So here he is talking to her.
Her 5 husbands could be all brothers, so they're trying to.
Yeah. Well, it could be. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, could be. We're not told. We're not told that part. I mean, we do make assumptions, and I will say that. I say that in sermon. People like me standing up in pulpits, sometimes we've made her out to be this person she might not have been. You know? But she's obviously a person who is trying to avoid everybody else. And she can't avoid Jesus, and Jesus doesn't avoid her. So here's this Messiah, this person who's supposed to be this religious dude who breaks just about every rule there is in this conversation. Because he can or because he does?
He was thirsty.
Yeah.
So he had to.
Yes, he was
Don't
thirsty.
tell him not to.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah.
But then he tells them why.
So what does that tell us about this Messiah? It says something about him, doesn't it? Yeah. Right?
And he tells her,
Yeah.
I'm the one you're talking about. And he doesn't do that to very many people.
Interesting little point we're making here. Let's talk about that.
And he remembered to bring it.
Jesus says to her, I am he, I'm the one, I am he. Love this about John's gospel. Don't like much about John's gospel, but I do like this part. Y'all remember this little story back in Exodus chapter 3? This guy named Moses, he's up there and this bush is burning, but it's not burning, and it's talking to him. You know, y'all remember stories like that, right? That'd be hard to forget, wouldn't it? Okay, so this bush is turning, and it says to him, oh, let's just go back and do this for real.
He was just ready, waiting for somebody to stumble upon it.
Yeah, that's right. This is great stuff. But Moses said to God, if I come to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your ancestors has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. And, or I am being, or I exist, or I am. So, John uses this about 8 times in his gospel, where Jesus uses that when you translate the Hebrew to the Greek, I am sayings is what they call it. And where Jesus says to someone in John's gospel, I am. Here he says, I am he. In others he says, I am the bread of life. I am the light of the world. I am the gate. I am the good shepherd. I am the resurrection and life. I am the way, the truth, and life. I am the true vine. I am. Same words that used to Moses back in Exodus. So we call those the great I am sayings. Interesting thing, right? 8 times, basically, in John's gospel. This is the first one. This is the first I am saying. Jesus saying, I am. But who does he say it to? Not a Jew.
Just one person.
2 and 1 person. Not a group of people. 1 person who definitely trying to avoid everybody because she's there at noon, which is not typical. It's a she, and it's a Samaritan, the folks that the Jews hated. Wow, this Messiah, what a guy, what a character. Here he is out here in the middle of nowhere, sitting at this well in the heat of the day and says, I am he. To her, of all people.
Well, he must have been anticipating this. I mean, my question is.
In John's gospel, Jesus is a lot more intuitive than he is in the other gospels. You're right.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
He's sitting at the, why is he sitting? Everyone else went
Yeah.
to the city. Why is he sitting at a well if he doesn't have a bucket to get water? I mean, it's,
Yeah, well, there's another interesting little tidbit here in John's gospel. What is the first thing in John's gospel here in this story? Tell us about Jesus. He's at the well. Why?
He was tired.
He's tired.
From the journey.
As my grandma would say, he's tired. He's tired from the journey. And not just he's at this well. He's here. And in this Samaritan area, you know. But what interesting. Now, this is the part that's jumped out to me the most this year. You know, all these things that pop up is that the first thing we hear about Jesus in the story is he's tired. Man, he's worn out by the journey. That's an interesting thing for John to tell us, right?
What's the significance of it being Jacob's well?
Jacob's, I guess because the Samaritans, I mean, it's a historic place. It has it does have, people knew it. It has the Samaritan interaction, which is exactly why John wants to tell us this story.
Well, if he's tired, too, that explains why he didn't go into the town with the
Yeah.
disciples.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's tired, so he's gonna sit there while they go do.
What a neat Messiah that would be tired. I mean, you just don't think about those. Yeah, you get to say, hey, the Messiah got tired. Any of y'all ever get tired? Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, me too. But yeah, he's tired, and so he's thirsty. Wow. So this Messiah we have doesn't just, I mean, it doesn't hover off somewhere. It is the most, I mean, I love stained glass windows, and I know that Calvin didn't, and he was so opposed to them, and that's fine. Calvin's Calvin, and I'm me. But the one thing I always have that kind of frustrates me when about like stained glass windows, like, you know, when we go back to Durham or something and go walk through or whatever, where am I at? I always love to go into churches and look up at their stained glass. They're always way up there, you know, all these majestic icons that we look to in Bible stories, and they're way up there, and they're untouchable. But Jesus here in this story, he's very, very relatable. He's tired. He's thirsty. He's having an interaction with someone he's not supposed to be interacting with. Any of us ever done that? Of course we do. We have interactions with people. Most people go, man, you shouldn't be hanging out with that guy. You know, we do. And here's the Messiah, the anointed one, the one who even says, I'm him. That takes a lot of guts on his part to make that claim. I'm he. Yeah, okay. That's a little out there. And makes it to this person of all people. And she's the very first in John's gospel. She's the very first evangelist there is. She's the first one that goes and tells the other people about Jesus. Her. The lady who shows up at noon, who doesn't want to have any interaction with anybody. Whoa, she picked the wrong day to show up at noon, right? She talks to Jesus. And then goes back and tells everybody, hey man, this guy's got me all figured out. Come check him out. And they go. People go, wow. It could be that, hey, here's this person who's avoided people forever, or for a long time anyway, and all of a sudden she shows up to tell everybody. Maybe that's the ultimate reason they listen. Wow, she ain't been around.
Really important if she's come out here.
Yeah, she say, wow, she hadn't talked to us in years. Or, I don't know, you ought to listen to her.
And I'm assuming that Jesus and the disciples must have got to the well sometime around noon also, because,
Yeah.
I mean, if they were there when there were a bunch of other women there, you would think he would have just said it to everybody, but.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's. I mean, John wants us to know. John is telling us this story in a way, and including the details that we don't miss. This is a scandalous moment. He wants us to know this is icky for.
Breaking the mold.
Yeah, that when preachers show up talking to folks like this, rumors get started, you know.
Well, I mean, even the disciples didn't
Yeah.
say anything, but they thought it.
Yeah.
He made a point to say
And-
they thought it, and they just.
And John, and I think about this part, that John's written so much later than the others. He's had time to put together these thoughts that so the reader or the listener is hearing this and going, hey, well, wait a second, what about? And he fills us in. He lets us know, hey, they were thinking this. They were thinking this, but, you know, they didn't say it. Because somebody should have said something. Somebody should have said, Jesus, man, this is bad PR. This is not what messiahs do. We're not going to win campaigns like this. And she's like, I don't care. I don't care.
But if your message is it's for everybody, then it has to start somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so what is that with her too, their interaction? He doesn't, let me keep on, oh gosh, y'all. So with this story, I have to switch over now because we only got 4 minutes. I can't talk about that long. We'll talk about that later. Hopefully we'll get it in the sermon. What does this do to us today? What is this Rocky River Presbyterian Church, 2026? We're in the middle of the world this is our world. As chaotic as it might be. Their world was pretty chaotic too, though, okay? Never, ever forget that part. Our world the world has just been chaotic. We just have it on our phones 24 hours a day to remind us how chaotic our world is. They did not.
Well, to me, it tells us we're still supposed to go out and evangelize. We're supposed to evangelize
Okay.
not to just our like people, but other people also.
Okay. Yeah, and just remember though, that story right there gets you in trouble. Okay? Just want to say that. When we start talking to people we're not supposed to be talking to.
Well, I guess it's your definition of evangelizing.
Yeah.
We open the building.
Yeah.
For lots of different types of people.
Sure.
Does that mean but we don't necessarily
Stand out there on the corner.
we don't go out and actually,
Yeah.
you're welcome in the building. We got a couple people there that say, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Is that enough? I mean, like,
Yeah.
but we're not knocking on doors on a Sunday afternoon, and we're not,
I've done that before.
it is not fun.
It's awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that enough? Is
yeah,
that?
that's pretty awkward. But of course, then again, this wasn't necessarily programmed. Dude, that's my problem. I mean, when I did that in Moxville when Urban Institute asked us, or not Urban Institute, Auburn. God, Auburn Institute asked us to do that for a church in Winston-Salem. We had to go and do that one afternoon. It was very ineffective. Didn't work. Most of the people when they opened, they were like, "Are you Jehovah's Witness?" No. No. But this notion of program. Okay, I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to go out and witness for Jesus. It's probably not going to work out near as well as we thought. But this notion of these encounters with people, and people that may or may not necessarily be the person you want to have the interaction with, but that it is this sense of not just it. I guess Jesus didn't say to her, yeah, I'm hired to be that. He said, I am he. And really and truly, these encounters are not what we do, it's who we are
Well, it just
as
gets
God's
to me
people.
that, Jesus went, the town came to him
Yeah.
out there,
Yeah.
and they believed. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, these people
Yeah.
were at odds, like you said, for eons, and all of a sudden they
Still
believed.
are. Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
what did he say?
It's just, I think it's the relationship. I think it's the presence. I think it's the encounter. And more this year, I know that, I hope it doesn't come off as a broken record, but that's to me is probably the most important part of who we are, what we are, and who our faith is in this world where we have become so connected by being disconnected, that there's this real sense in these stories about presence, the presence of God. I'm He, and I'm right here with you right now. He didn't condemn her. He spoke truth to her. He didn't judge her. He just said, this is who you are, this is who I am. And here we are. He didn't go, get away. Or he didn't say, I'm leaving. He didn't say, whoa, you worship over there, I worship over here, and we just can't connect. He said, one day, this is how it's going to work. But he never, ever, ever leaves her alone. And I think that's probably one of the most important parts, and it's probably the most important part that we need to talk about as far as evangelism. You're right. I think it's important that we're very open about how we want to connect with people. But I think it's also just a part of to become who we are, not, okay, I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to tell 5 people about Jesus today. I don't care if they want to hear it or not. I bet my quota. I got my quota in. Woo! Okay, Jesus, just check me out. I got my quota in. And then I can go tell people I got my quota in. But this natural interaction of people just who are thirsty, who need life, and who need presence or hope or mercy or grace of some sort or another.
Well, that's just it. They've all been searching. He's like, here I am. Here you're looking for it. I'm here.
Yeah. And I'm 2 minutes over. I got to stop. But and we'll see how it works out in the sermon. I see that story is so long. It's like I got into, and then when I got to over, I was like, oh, maybe I said too many different things. We'll see. All right. Yes, sir.
Sounds like he just dropped the harvest and the reapers section just in the middle of this.
Yeah. I kind of get the, yeah.
What are we supposed to get out of this?
I think exactly what she did. I mean, interesting that he's telling this story to the disciples about reaping and sowing, and the harvest is out there. And here comes this lady back with the whole town. Like, wow, she sure went for it, didn't she? And look what happened, you know? And it could be, who knows what happens with us when we go share. Nobody will listen to me. I'm just me. Maybe not. Yeah, look what she did. That's pretty cool. Maybe it just takes us saying something. Never know. Let's pray. Gracious God, we give thanks for your love and your mercy, and that, yes, there are a lot of folks out there who are thirsty for some sense of grace and mercy, not for judgment, but for presence, your presence. May we be just that here in our world right here and right now. Amen. All right.